Hey, what is up guys? So we're going to be going over a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh cards that have been going up in price, as well as a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh cards that have been going down in price. So if you are a vendor, or if you're just interested in getting trade bait, or trying to get rid of some cards before they lose all of their value, this is going to be a great video for you. But anyways, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So with the first card going up like crazy, Lavalval Chain. This card, it needs a reprint. But anyways, it's going up in price. At the moment of making this video, it's like a $70+ card. A lot of sites have this for $100+. And that is because Necros are going to be using this card a lot. Now, as of right now, Heroes are also using this card. You know, send Shadow Mist, get a free card. Definitely good. But the ability to also do a kind of a small little loop in Necros requires this card. So this card is going to be very expensive simply due to Necros. So if there's not a reprint, this card could go up even higher in price because, like I said, Necros really need it. And that is going to be one of the most popular decks in the game as soon as that you know, archetype has all of its stuff. Next up, Emergency Teleport, and that is due to the Sacred Beasts or the Ritual Beasts coming out into the game with that new set that's coming out later this month. Now, Emergency Teleport is just used because you need to get out another free monster. Basically, it summons whatever you want from the deck, and then you get free cards, and then you can get more free cards. Basically, a lot of them get you free cards anyways, but Emergency Teleport is kind of used in that deck. Now, as far as this deck, I don't think it's on the same level as Necros, but it is still a pretty awesome deck, and it gets a lot of free advantage. Next up, Maxi has been also going up in price. Burning Abyss is still a very popular deck, and as well as Heroes, once they activate, you know, their Hero Lives. If you don't want to lose that turn, sometimes you can activate Maxi and just hope that your opponent does not go all in, because, you know, sometimes they'll just go all in anyways, and you will indeed lose. So make sure if you're playing Maxi also that hopefully you can draw an out, whether it be something like Effect Failure or something like Gores, so you can keep yourself alive, Battle Fader, you know, Swift Scarecrow, because sometimes against certain decks, they'll be like, well, what is, you know, like Cliff Force, what are they going to draw into to prevent themselves from losing? And the answer is probably nothing. As long as you can finish them off, you can just go for game anyways. But other decks that can play Gores or can play other things that stop the battle phase, yeah, Maxi is something that they got to watch out for. Next up, Felice, Lightsworn Archer. Honestly, I have no idea why. If anyone wants to let me know why this card doubled in price, and by double in price, it's $10 rather than $5. So, I mean, I think if you have this card, I just don't know why, honestly. So, someone let me know in the comment section below why this card has doubled in its price. I was thinking maybe perhaps Infernoids. Anyways, next up, see, some of the Infernoid stuff's going up in price. A lot of people think this deck has some potential, and honestly, I think it does, until you run to Imperial Iron Wall, and then you cry very hard, because a lot of players were actually side decking 1 or 2 copies of Imperial Iron Wall in the chance that they match up against Infernoids, and then you just auto-win, unless they have MST, because they can't really do anything, because they have to vanish to be summoned anyways. But this deck, to me, it's basically like a really sacky deck with Reasoning or Monster Gate. Other than that, though, I mean, the deck doesn't have too many really strong plays that I can think of at the moment. I don't know if that Field Spell is out, but that Field Spell definitely does help out a lot of different decks too. But for whatever reason, the Infernoids are still kind of going up in price, which is kind of, you know, makes me think that maybe this deck has some potential. Someone's got some crazy build that I just haven't seen yet. But at the end of the day, to me, it's just like a Reasoning deck until they get more support. But nonetheless, it can be very good as long as, of course, you get Reasoning and you don't mill the dog early on. Next up, Mask Hero Acid. I already talked about this guy. It's because of Heroes, no surprise there. He's just a fantastic card, too, because he gets extra attack and he gets to blow up everything. Oh, so good, man. And next up, we have Gishki Chain. Now, first off, I do want to mention that in the TCG, you probably will not need to run Gishki Chain. You can run Gishki Chain if you want to. But the thing is, you have Manju at 3 on Manju, and then you also have Preparation of Rites at 3. You also have Unicore. These are all Necros that I'm talking about. This card is only pretty much used in Necros, and the reason why is because in the OCG they got a lot of stuff hit, so they are running Gishki Chain instead of the other cards that they would normally run. So if you want to, this card is going up in price, and it'll probably drop back down once everyone gets those like top winning deck lists, but then I think this card will back up if the deck gets hit, you know. In the TCG, maybe they'll hit it really hard, because Gishkis, when they came out, before you could even legally play them, they already hit the deck so they could stop the loop, so you didn't have like the whole wind-up loop happening over again. And so sometimes decks do get hit before they come out. I think pretty much most of the stuff for Necros will be coming out in that next hidden arsenal, so to speak, like thing that they're coming out with later this month. But maybe if they like just miss a few cards, then once they release those few cards, they'll already be hit, or the deck will get hit somehow. But nonetheless, the card is kind of going up. It's only like $5 now, but it was like a, a quarter or something like that before. It probably wasn't too expensive of a card. I just didn't follow up on it. But nonetheless, it is definitely going up because people are picking them up for potentially Gishki's getting, not Gishki's, the Necro's getting hit early on. Next up, cards that are going down in price. Denkoseka. Pretty much Burning Abyss has completely dropped traps because, they have a Dante on board. You go ahead and summon Denkoseka, you activate, and then you could sometimes just win the games from there by just summoning a bunch of monsters in one turn. Now, Burning Abyss just decided to go with max out on econs, and like there's a lot of trapless Burning Abyss decks, and the next deck that's coming out is the Necros, and that is a very popular deck in the OCG, and everyone pretty much understands that that deck will be very, very strong. And Denkoseka pretty much does nothing against that deck. That deck does not have any back row, if not a few. So Denkoseka probably won't be doing too much in the future. It can definitely stop Ritual Beast, but that deck isn't even doing really too much in the OCG, but it is still topping once in a while, and it is still an okay deck. It has a decent Necros matchup is what it really has. Next up, Gungnir's also going down in price. I think people are just, it's a lot of the stuff from the newer sets just going down in price, but that's pretty much normal in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Whether it's the Nephi Shadal Fusion, the Malkota, the Cliffworth Stealth. A lot of the Cliffworth stuff is dropping, like whether it's Sacrifices, or the Scouts, or the, is Tool and Scout are the same thing, right? I forgot. Again, sometimes the names in the OCG and the TCG, they get me confused sometimes. But anyways, the Sacrifice is going down, and the Stealth is also going down, and Summoners are also going down in price. So I'm thinking maybe people are just tired of playing the deck. That happens sometimes in Yu-Gi-Oh! There's newer stuff comes out, people want to just play other things. Cliffworths also can have a really bad matchup, technically against a deck like Heroes, where they're popping the Pendulum Scale, and it does cause problems for them, and they just cannot get out their stuff. And also, when you make Dark Law against them, that deck needs to search their stuff, and then you just get to banish one. So I think Cliffworths not only are going to go down in price simply because other stuff is coming out that's better, it's just that people are also kind of getting tired of the playstyle, which does definitely happen in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Also, the Cleese don't have such a great Burning Abyss matchup, and I think there's a lot less Shadal players in the game at the moment, because Burning Abyss is just so popular. And also, Heroes basically are one of the most popular decks right now in the game. Even though it's not like necessarily the toppest tier, it's a really cheap deck for people to build. Also, Pot of Riches is also going down in price, but I feel like Pot of Riches has the most potential. So even looking at this, say some of you guys, this is just like a tip video in general, not just in this video, but let's say you have some of the cards I mentioned and they are going down in price. It doesn't mean you have to get rid of them. This could be a good time or opportunity to pick up some cards because you think that there's going to be some new archetype that's going to actually support some of these cards that are going down in price. For example, Pot of Riches right now, it's going down in price, but I think this one has potentially one of the better effects that isn't really utilized too much right now in the game. And because Pendulums, they only have really one deck, which is the Cleese right now, they obviously need to support the new Pendulum archetype, which they are definitely doing. There's basically Chaos Dragon support coming out into the game. The Chaos Dragon support is going to be, involving rank 7. So I'm thinking that perhaps in order for the deck to be fast, you do need to make the deck viable as far as consistency, especially when you're going up against a deck like Necros, which is going to potentially stop you from special summoning. Like, the deck needs to be very fast. Now, there is one downside of Pot of Riches. Let me go ahead and read this card real quick because I actually have a copy of this myself, and I think it's a really cool card. So it's a normal spell card that says shuffle 3 Pendulum monsters into the deck from your graveyard and or face up from your extra deck. Then draw 2 cards. You can only activate one of them per turn, and you cannot special summon the turn you activate this card except by Pendulum summoning. And when I heard that, I was like, okay, well then, how are you going to, really make use of those, the new Chaos Dragon archetype? But I thought to myself, they wouldn't just make the Chaos Dragon a Pendulum archetype where you would try to exceed or something like that. They're gonna probably make it so you can bring them out perhaps during the end phase of your opponent's turn, or just they have to have some essential way to actually make Pendulums good without exceeding, because as we know, if you exceed with them, then they just won't go back face up in the extra deck, which makes it so Pendulums aren't good. So I'm trying to think of some way that that they will make pendulums perhaps, you know, not go to the graveyard, they'll go face up, or they'll just play a completely different way. Like the Chaos Dragons will just keep on just spamming monsters on board, which is basically what they did. But I was looking at a lot of them, they were level 7, so I thought to myself, they've probably got some idea for rank 7s. But again, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! They can come up with some crazy cards. But anyways, guys, this is basically the cards that you should pick up and get rid of. Let me know, guys, what other cards you thought I maybe missed out on, or what cards you're excited perhaps to pick up, because I think Denko Sekka is a really good card too in the game. It's just that a lot of the archetypes are just so fast, I don't even care about traps in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! But you know what I do like about Denko Sekka legitimately, though, is that some people will try to get the most out of their Dark Law, and what you can do is you can just immediately summon Denko Sekka, and if they have a face-up they have a face-up, not Mass Hero, they have face-up Shadow Mist, and they have not activated the Mass Change that they got for free, yet you can summon Denko Sekka and sometimes just OTK them, especially when they go for the first turn, Heroes Live, add it, and then they set it, and they're waiting for you to, you know, try to add something, then they're going to go into Dark Law, or they just don't want to just go straight into Dark Law and then maybe get wrecked by something where they could have maybe used another Mass Change in place of the normal Mass Change to bring something completely different out. But anyways, guys, yeah, Denko Sekka I think is still a pretty good card to pick up because it's overall just well-rounded, and it can do some stuff depending on what the game state is. But at the moment, I feel like the game's a little fast, so maybe if this card drops a little bit more, you guys can pick some up. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day. Azneyes signing out.